Hello, everyone. It's Cecilia Towns, the Sporty Esquire, and you're here with me for another episode of What Working Women Wednesday, the series where I share with you the things that I have learned and the things that I'm learning from my career as an attorney, as an entrepreneur, and as a former student athlete. This week, I want to talk to you about, again, surprise, surprise, networking, but I want to take it a step further. I talked to you extensively about the importance of networking and how your network is your net worth. And I've given you buku tips on how to actually network. But what we haven't talked about is what to do once you have your network built. How do you actually use this network that you've worked so hard to establish? And it's important that we talk about this because if you misuse or don't use your network, it could be career ending. Your inability to properly communicate with people in your network or to properly behave with people in your network really can sort of cause you to be blackballed, cause you to be looked at in a negative light and not considered for opportunities. And at the same time, if you don't use it at all, then it's pointless. All the work that you've put in is not really going to do you any good. So, a few things to consider, 3 to be exact, when using your network. First and foremost is the big P, professionalism. You have to maintain a level of tact and professionalism throughout your communications with your professional network. Now, there are times when your professional relationships turned into personal relationships, but you need to make sure that until it is very clear that you are not just professional colleagues or have a professional relationship, that you are not overstepping your bounds. You cannot get too casual with people who are in your professional network. As a woman who works in the law, which is, can be male driven, and obviously who works in the sports industry, it's very male driven. I have been put in plenty of situations where men just get a little too casual, a little too friendly. We're supposed to be networking and discussing a business venture, and then they say something that makes me go, And that for me it puts them in a box. I automatically consider them someone that I can't really take seriously, that I'm not going to recommend for certain things. And so you don't want people to do that to you. You don't want to slip up and call somebody your homegirl, but really you're a contact that you got through your manager or your mentor. So maintain that level of professionalism until you know for sure that that's no longer necessary. I would also say in the area of being professional is, don't be too pushy or too aggressive. Understand that in trying to build these professional relationships, people have other things going for them. That meeting that you are trying to set up with that person might not be on the top of their list, and that's okay. You can be mindful and let people know that you're interested in working with them or talking with them without being overly aggressive and pushy and demanding. At the same time, you want to be responsive to people who are interested in working with you. And although you might not be able to respond immediately, you don't want to be that person who never responds, because word on the street gets out that, you aren't really professional, you aren't responsive, and that's not good for your street cred, for your brand development. Also in the level or related to being a professional is just, being on time, making sure that things are not misspelled, that things are grammatically correct in your communications. That goes a long way to establishing yourself as a professional within the network that you've built. You also want to be specific with your asks. So be professional, but be specific when it's time to ask people in your network for assistance. These people are busy. We've talked about how to ask for things all the time, so this is a little bit of a reiteration. But make sure that when you're coming to people in your network for ask, that you are having a targeted ask. You're asking the right people for the right things. You are able to explain exactly what you're asking for and why you're asking for it. And oftentimes, you might need to be able to explain why exactly you're asking for it, right? So I ask for sponsorship dollars all the time and sponsorship participation all the time for the events that Gladiators host. And the first thing that people want to know is, how is it going to benefit them? And that's okay for them to want to know that. People that are going to give you your time and they're going to give you your money, they need to know that it's not going to be wasted, and that it's mutually beneficial for you all. So sometimes people don't ask that. Sometimes people are willing to set up the meeting or to help you with nothing in return. But you should be prepared for people in your professional network to want to know what they're getting out of it, what helping you is going to do for them. And then finally, you need to be ready to deliver and deliver well when you are working with people in your professional network. It is always my rule of thumb, and you should make your rule of thumb, to under promise and over deliver. Because if you over promise and under deliver, you could not only ruin the relationship with the person you're working with, but you could really damage future relationships, right? So you don't want the word to get out that you've said you were going to do something and you didn't do it, or you said you were going to provide something and you didn't provide it, or you didn't provide it at the level that you said you were going to provide it at. Because these professional spaces that you work in, they're actually very small. Word travels, and word travels quickly. You don't want to just be seen as someone who can't be relied on. That will certainly ruin your network and ruin your opportunity of working with people in the future. So that's it. If you want to use your network and use it well, make sure that you're professional and tactful. Be considerate, and just show that you have an education. Be specific with your asks, and just make sure that you are delivering a bomb product. So if you want to grow your network and find more people to ask and help with things, you should find yourself at the Gladiators Women in Sports Empowerment Summit here in Atlanta, Georgia, on January 30th, 2019 for Super Bowl week. There are going to be many people, many women in the sports industry who are interested in networking with you and interested in helping you grow your career. So make sure you're there. Check out Gladiators Women in Sports Empowerment Summit. We have a jammed up lineup already, and it's still growing. We have Yolanda Moore, WNBA champion Yolanda Moore is going to be one of our panelists. We have Jill Robinson, who is the CFO of the Atlanta Braves, who's going to be on our panel. We are going to have workshops by Brandy Mitchell, who is like a brand strategist, brand queen. She's going to show you how to develop your brand. It's the place to be if you want to grow professionally, if you want to meet other women who are, of the same mind as you are. So gladiatorsummit.com. We want to see you there. And thanks for spending some time with me for another episode of Working Women Wednesday. I'll see you later. Bye.